Disclaimer: the following video that you're about to view only contains audio only, as it's from a wrestling internet radio show. If you are looking for wrestling video footage, you will not find that on this video. This wrestling radio show may contain strong language that may be offensive to those under the age of 18. If you are under the age of 18, please get permission to listen to this episode. Enjoy, comment, and subscribe. Next on the RCWR show, yours truly, the Black Avenger, Lee Sanders, is going to be offering match predictions for Sunday's WWE TLC Tables, Ladders, and Chairs pay-per-view. It's that time. Once again, I'm going to be rolling up my sleeves one more time and putting on my thinking cap to decide who's going to be walking away victorious at Sunday's event. It's the RCWR show. Call that match special, and it begins right now.
Hold one, arm drag. Whoa! This is
Brett screwed Brett.
Who are you to doubt El Dandy? Because this guy's a serious professional.
Brett screwed Brett.
hold two, arm bar.
Hey, get a nice shot of the brand new Mr. and Mrs. Hunter Hurst Helmsley.
I hate you. I hate you. I hate your hat. I hate your t-shirts. I hate your wristbands. I hate your shoes. I hate your music. I hate the C Nation. I hate everything that you stand for.
Sodas rule. Yeah, they do.
Hold three, the moss-covered, three-handle family Gradunzel.
Live from the nation's capital in Washington, D.C., this is the RCWR Show with your host, Lee Sanders.
And welcoming you to the RCWR show, Call That Match Special. I'm, of course, as always, the Black Avenger, LS, aka Lee Sanders. Thank you all so much for checking out this episode right now, whether you're checking it out on blogtalkradio.com, over at our sister website at infinityoneproductions.com, Stitcher. And if you don't have that new Stitcher app, then you are missing out on all the fun to be able to take all our episodes with you on the go. Stitcher, new and smart way to play radio. Also, mad shout out to those of you that's checking this out on YouTube right now. Special shout out to our YouTube subscribers. So, it's that time once again. WWE is rolling out the 4th annual TLC pay-per-view that's going to be coming from Brooklyn, New York, from the Barclays Center. You know, when it comes to wrestling, no crowd does it better than a New York crowd. And this is just really coming off of a strong weekend for the WWE, as they have the Rolling Stones pay-per-view that's going to be happening just later tonight. And what a great way to cap off a solid week from WWE, as we have the TLC pay-per-view setting up a very solid week coming up, where WWE is going to be dominating on all the channels this week. That should be a very fun moment right there. Of course, we'll recap all that for you guys on the RCWR post show that's going to be coming up this Sunday night, tackling the fallout from the TLC pay-per-view. But for now, let's talk about these matches that we're going to be seeing at Sunday's pay-per-view. And, you know, of course, as always, you can join us on the discussion of all the matches that we're going to be covering on this show. You can interact with us by hitting us up on Twitter at Infinity1Prod and share your match predictions. You can also interact with us in our chat room that we have up right now at blogtalkradio.com. If you're checking us out on YouTube, feel free to offer your match predictions on the comment section down below. All right, so let's go ahead and let's jump right into it, guys. This is one of the pay-per-views from WWE that I am actually very excited about, because when I was looking at some of these matches on the card, I was just scratching my head, because there are so many twists, there are so many turns that could happen with this pay-per-view that just has me going, man, just which way could this possibly go? And I'm going to be sharing with you some really great in-depth looks into some of these matches that I'm going to be talking about to kind of get you guys prepared and ready for what you could possibly expect at the pay-per-view. Of course, I want to kick things off by talking about the YouTube pre-show that we're going to be getting just before the pay-per-view, and you'll be able to see that for free on YouTube, and you'll be able to check it out on WWE's website. This is really awesome. Now, this pre-show is called a Santa's Little Helpers, and it's a battle royal to determine the number one contender to face the WWE Divas champion, the lovely Eve. Now, this goes as follows, folks. We have in this battle royal Layla versus Kaitlyn versus Alicia Fox versus Natalya versus Tamina versus Aksana versus Rosa Mendes versus Cameron versus Naomi. So we got all those divas that are going to be in this battle royal. Now notice right here what a difference a day makes, as originally Naomi and Cameron, Brodus Clay's Funketeer dancers, they were not in this battle royal. Originally, it was AJ Lee that was in their place, but I guess WWE booking management, they decided that it was a little bit of a bad move to be putting AJ in this type of a match, and so instead we get a double dose of some hot chocolate. And you know what? I'm honestly quite fine with that. It's actually triple chocolate when you think about it, because we also got Alicia Fox in there as well. Hey, I'm fine with this. Honestly, I didn't quite understand why AJ Lee was put in the Battle Royal to begin with. It just really did not make any sense to me whatsoever, because when I was originally thinking about this, I'm saying to myself, wait a minute. All of a sudden, she's going to try to focus on becoming a Divas champion while she still has Vicky Guerrero in her rearview mirror. What's going on here? This doesn't make any sense. And so I think that this is really cool what WWE did. Now, they can really make up for this big time. I would not be too surprised if maybe we see AJ Lee have a few words with Vicky Guerrero at the pay-per-view and say, hey, what happened? I was originally supposed to be in the Battle Royal, and maybe we could hear Vicky Guerrero say, yeah, well, you know, that was my call originally. Yeah, I did have you in it, but then I kind of thought about it a little bit more, and I just don't think you're deserving to be in that type of a match. I don't think you should be the Divas champion. It'd be kind of nice to see some type of a continuation, some type of an explanation as to why AJ Lee was pulled from it, because after all, from what we had saw on Raw this past Monday, AJ was advertised for the YouTube pre-show. You saw her pretty little face, all that, as well as the other divas plugging this match. So they're gonna have to explain it, because it's still gonna be fresh in the minds of a lot of people. But hey, it's a YouTube pre-show. You can't really complain too much. You're getting 30 minutes of WWE programming for free. Nothing wrong with that. But you know, I'm looking at this Battle Royal match, and I'm just saying to myself, who really needs this? Who needs to be working a great program right now with Eve? Now, just off the break, I want to go on ahead and I want to eliminate Cameron and Naomi. I don't have anything personal against these women. I know that they are some pretty decent workers. I've heard some good stuff from them that they've done down at the plant and all that, but I just don't think it's really their time. I'm not going with them right now. So Cameron, Naomi, let's just eliminate them. Rosa Mendes, I like the angle that she has going on with Alberto Del Rio. I really just don't see Rosa Mendes doing a program with Eve Torres right now. Not to mention Eve Torres is coming off a bit of a heelish diva. Really, in the world of the WWE, you can't really have two heel divas going at it. So Rosa Mendes, that's another one that I'm going to eliminate. Aksana, hey, she is nicely shaped in a few places. Hey, she's cool, but I'm sorry, from what I've seen of her the past few times I've seen her step into the ring, really wasn't that too pleased with what I saw. Although she has been making a little bit of progress, she's not quite there yet. You know, if I were to grade her in-ring ability from a scale of 1 to 10, I would honestly have to give her a modest 3.5 out of 10, maybe a 4 out of 10. I really don't want to see her wrestle, so I don't see her winning this. So let's eliminate her as well. Natalya, that is my girl. I love Natalya. I mean, she is a great, solid performer, but you know, you would think that alone would just really have her be one of those final candidates. I'm not really sold right now on her working that program with Eve. Unfortunately, as much as I'm a huge Natalya fan, I just don't quite see it happening for her. So let's eliminate her as well. So now the focus is on Tamina Snuka, Alicia Fox, Layla, and Kaitlyn. Now, from what we all had saw from Friday Night SmackDown earlier this week, we did see Kaitlyn pick up a victory as she had defeated, I believe it was Aksana in a singles match. So she's got a little bit of momentum right there. But at the same time, remember, she did have those legal problems that went on, and we've covered it enough times. You guys should know exactly what we're talking about. If not, then just do yourself a favor and just backtrack to our previous episodes in the archive section, and you'll be caught up to speed on what you might have missed. But Kaitlyn, coming out of that whole little fiasco that she had happen at the SmackDown tapings in Michigan a couple of weeks back, been pretty much off the radar since then. Kind of funny too, because Eve had picked up a injury at one of the house shows, and she was kind of chilling for a little bit, recuperating on her injuries. And you know, you just think about what all was happening with Kaitlyn. I'm not really too sure about Kaitlyn right now. I think Kaitlyn has to prove herself all over again. I would actually be pretty shocked if she was the one to win the Battle Royal, but if it was me, the way I'm booking this, I'm not going with Kaitlyn. So let's eliminate her. That now brings us to Alicia Fox, Layla, Tamina, she recently had came back, and she's been a thorn in the side of AJ Lee. And I don't know, I don't think I'm quite sold on Tamina being that number one contender just yet. I think Tamina would be better continuing to work the angle that she's been working with Vicky Guerrero, as we've seen the past couple of weeks, as it looks as if she is some type of a female bodyguard for Vicky Guerrero. I like to see her continue that path. I don't think she's quite done with AJ Lee just yet. I think the two of those girls have only just begun. Not feeling Tamina Snuka right now, despite the fact that she's a pretty solid performer. I must admit, I do like watching her wrestle, but I'm not quite sold on her right now. So this is really coming down to, folks, Layla and Alicia Fox. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I think Layla has had, at least 3 cracks at Eve for the Divas Championship, and she just hasn't been able to get the job done. I'm really liking Alicia Fox right now. I think that she has always been a great diva. You know, it just seems like right when she starts to get really, really popular, all of a sudden the plug just gets yanked, and it's like, okay, what happened? But, you know, I'm really liking Alicia Fox right now. It's something fresh. I want to see that happen. I would be more sold on Alicia Fox taking on Eve. But don't be too surprised if maybe WWE might decide to go back with Layla. But right now, for my money, the way I would book this, I would actually go with Alicia Fox. Let's move on now, folks, which brings us to one of my favorite matches of the card. And I want to talk about this off the break. Big Show versus Sheamus for the World Heavyweight Championship. Now, There are so many twists and turns in this match. It is ridiculous. Now, look, could the third time be the charm for Sheamus? Could this possibly be that time when Sheamus really is able to go that extra mile and is able to pull a true upset? Because he is really going into this match as an underdog, because Big Show has owned him at the past 2 pay-per-views. Can Sheamus pull through on this third attempt at taking back his World Heavyweight Championship? Well, he has a little bit of an assist, as this type of match is going to be a chairs match for the World Heavyweight Championship. So he's got a little bit of flexibility in there to try to weaken the Giant. But can Sheamus get away with it? This is going to be hands down a great match. It's going to be right up there with what these guys did at the last pay-per-view. I think when it's all said and done, I think they're going to be able to top what they did at Survivor Series. Heck, I think it's highly possible that these guys can even top what they did at Hell in a Cell. So that's how much confidence I have in these two guys come TLC. You know, if you haven't been watching, I highly encourage you to go backtrack on YouTube and go check out the previous Big Show Sheamus encounters. You will especially love what they did at Hell in a Cell. That was hands down one of the best freaking matches I have seen of the Big Show in all the years that he has been in the WWE. I mean, he's had some pretty solid moments, but that match he had with Sheamus is like in his top 5, I feel. If I were to make a greatest matches of the Big Show, like a top 10 list, I would put that one in the top 5. That was really a great, solid match that he had. This TLC match, this chairs match at TLC, has all the greatest potential in the world to top what they did the previous 2 months. You know, I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, well, what could possibly happen for the Big Show if he were to pick up the win? What would be next for him? What would that next contender be? And quite honestly, if Big Show is able to go past Sheamus, then he is pretty much unbeatable. There's really nobody on the roster that I can think of that could even step up to the plate to try to take on Big Show. Not unless you're going to sit up and you're going to inject somebody new into the mix. Maybe Wade Barrett. For some reason, I just don't see that happening right now. Look at it from Sheamus' side. Sheamus, he has a little bit more longevity here because Sheamus could get the title back, and once more, you can have Big Show end up trying to chase after Sheamus for another month, and that could pretty much be the be-all, end-it-all. We could see Booker T step in and say, okay, yeah, you are entitled to a rematch. This is it. If you're not able to get the job done, too bad for you, Big Show, but this is pretty much it. And then Sheamus could just then focus on WrestleMania. I'm really starting to get the impression here that this might have been done for Sheamus just to try to make him look even more stronger going into WrestleMania. Because when you really think about it, Sheamus quietly had one hell of an impressive streak as of his own when he had became the World Heavyweight Champion earlier at this year's WrestleMania. I mean, the guy was just freaking unstoppable. Then he ran into a wall known as the Big Show, and it just threw him off guard there. And he's been trying to rebound ever since. He came very close at last month's Survivor Series pay-per-view, but he came up short. This time around, he could go all the way, and I really like the idea more of a Sheamus beating Big Show for the World Heavyweight Championship. But wait, we're talking about how I would book this if I had total control of this, if it was me at the helm writing this. You know, we got to keep in the back of our minds here, and You, the wrestling fans, you, the listeners, y'all need to brace yourselves for this. It's highly possible that if this match comes out very early before the John Cena versus Dolph Ziggler match, it is highly likely that Dolph Ziggler could come out to cash in that Money in the Bank briefcase to shockingly become the new World Heavyweight Champion. And now some of you are probably hearing this and you're probably saying, okay, Lee, if that's really going to be the case, then who do you see becoming the new World Heavyweight Champion between Big Show versus Sheamus? I'm sold 100%. I'm going with Sheamus. Now, let's talk about Dolph Ziggler. As I said, if this match takes place before Dolph Ziggler takes on John Cena in the ladders match for the World Heavyweight contract, you know, I really would not be too surprised, guys, if Dolph Ziggler were to try to come out and cash in that briefcase on whoever wins that match between Big Show and Sheamus. But just for the sake of the argument, I'm going with Sheamus. I could see Ziggler doing something really shady like that. Now, of course, the $1 million question now comes into mind. Okay, if this move is going to happen, then what does that mean for the ladder match with John Cena? Well, you know, I was thinking about that, and it could be a running gag somewhat throughout the night. Vince McMahon could actually make an appearance at the pay-per-view, and he could announce, hey, yes, Dolph Ziggler could cash in that briefcase any place, anytime. However, it doesn't change the fact that he still has a match with John Cena. And yes, that match is still going to happen. It'll still be a ladder match. But hey, instead of it being for the World Heavyweight contract inside a Money in the Bank briefcase, it will now be for the World Heavyweight Championship. You create a lot of shock value when you do that. This would be the pay-per-view to really pull in all the stops and have just a ton of shock value going forward here. But that is the way I would set this up, okay? Let's move on to our next match, guys. We got Wade Barrett taking on Kofi Kingston for the Intercontinental Championship. This was another match that was a bit of a mind twister for me, because I was looking at this match and I was saying to myself, who would really do better getting the win in this contest? Would Kofi Kingston be the way to go, or would it be Wade Barrett? And you know, in my WWE world, I would hands down go with Wade Barrett. Barrett is the way to go. You can't win going otherwise. Barrage, non-stop, all day long, 24/7. I love Wade Barrett. But, you know, you also got to think about who would be currently holding the U.S. title at this point, which is Antonio Cesaro. So you got two guys holding on to a Intercontinental and a U.S. title, both foreign guys. I just don't really see that panning out too well. Talk about a fight for supremacy. I just don't see that happening. Wade Barrett, though, any other day of the week, he would be my guy. Kofi Kingston, he has just been on one hell of a streak within recent weeks. It seems like ever since he was working with The Miz there for those series of weeks and that great encounter that they had on Main Event a couple of weeks back, it seems like a new fire has been lit under Kofi Kingston. Kofi seems to be more hungrier, more determined, more focused than ever to prove that he is the real deal in the WWE, and he is taking the right step forward in becoming more aggressive in his matches. And honestly, I think this match that he is working with Wade Barrett is exactly what Kingston needs to really get over the fans, that, you know, he can get down and gritty when it counts the most. He does have that mean streak in him. He's not always about the boom, boom, boom and being all friendly. You know, when it comes to crunch time and he's got to do some dirty tactics, he's willing to dig down deep. And I love that new aggressive side that's been coming from Kofi Kingston. And The Miz would probably lay claim to being the one responsible for that. Yeah, go figure. Kofi Kingston, though, when it's all said and done, I got him retaining the Intercontinental Championship. However, you also got to think about, well, what could possibly happen with Wade Barrett next? What direction could he go? And, Wade Barrett, that's the thing. He has just been floating around here and there ever since he came back from that devastating injury he had. I believe it was with his shoulder or his arm that he had a couple of months back. It just seems like ever since he's been in the WWE from that injury, he's just been kind of floating around here and there. Took out a few jobbers, took out a few low mid-card guys. Hasn't really gotten back up to that status that he had before the injury on that episode of Raw where he was in that tag match with Chris Jericho there. Not quite the same guy, but he's been damn impressive. And, I would really be scratching my head trying to figure out, okay, what can we do with Wade Barrett next if he were to just go away with a loss to Kofi Kingston. Honestly, I think these two guys need to continue to work a program together. That is how I would do this. So, first strike for me, I would have to go with Kofi Kingston. If they do this right, this can actually stretch out for 2 months. If they won, they could actually have this conclude at the Elimination Chamber, but when it's really on the line right here for this Intercontinental title, I have to give the edge to Kofi Kingston for the first strike. But again, look for Kofi Kingston, Wade Barrett to continue their feud. I don't see Wade Barrett being done with Kingston just yet. All right, let's move on with our next match now, which sees the team. Well, no, I don't want to really talk about that match because that's the main event match. Let's skip that and let's go with the next match. Let's talk about Antonio Cesaro taking on R-Truth for the United States Championship. Now, as we all have seen within recent weeks, it looks like the way they are doing this match between Cesaro versus R-Truth, it's one of those type of the foreigner versus the whole country of USA. And, I'm really liking that. I dig that. But, let's just put all that little silly stuff to the side. This is really going to be one of those type of matches that really has one of the greatest potentials of being one of the match stealers of the night. Just the fact that you got Antonio Cesaro thrown into the mix, and I love me some Antonio Cesaro. That is the man. What can you not say about Cesaro? Every single week, he just continues to amaze me with his in-ring performance. I mean, this guy is just downright gritty. I mean, he has that nasty, devastating uppercut that looks like it came from a Street Fighter video game. I'm really loving Cesaro, and it's just been really a fun ride seeing him slowly adapt to this character that he is really trying to build upon as he's just been getting more and more comfortable on the mic. You could tell that early on he wasn't really quite comfortable with himself and his ability to deliver, but it seems like now he is just really starting to become more and more and more comfortable, and I like that. And I mean, he's already had the in-ring ability down, but now it's looking more like pretty soon he's going to end up being that total package. But when I'm looking at this match between these two guys at TLC, I'm sorry, I got to go with Cesaro. Look, with all due respect to R-Truth, great guy. He has that whole little Jimmy thing, which I think has been played out for quite too long now. But, we've seen R-Truth as a United States champion before. And quite honestly, the United States title really wouldn't do any good for him right now. I know we probably got some wrestling fans, especially diehard R-Truth fans, that probably would want to offer me a different argument. But my argument right now, R-Truth, he's already been there. He's done that. The United States title really wouldn't do him any good right now. Cesaro needs to continue the streak. Now, of course, some of you are probably hearing that, and you're probably saying to yourselves, well, what could possibly happen now? Where could this lead to with Antonio Cesaro just continuing to dominate on everybody that has been stepping in the ring with him. Well, quite honestly, that's the path that they need to continue to go with Antonio Cesaro. I think ultimately what's going to happen is I think we're going to see somebody that's going to come up from possibly the NXT developmental territory to take on Antonio Cesaro. And I think you guys know exactly the person who I'm talking about. That's your little spoiler alert right there. Here's the only thing I'll have to say. Remember, they were showing his little patriotic videos a couple of months back. Notice they've been pretty silent with them within recent months. So I'm kind of wondering, I'm kind of putting two and two together and saying to myself, I wonder if that might possibly be the guy that could be coming up to the main roster to maybe give a challenge to Cesaro. Well, we should wait and see, but that's your little spoiler alert right there. All right, let's talk about the next match that we got on the card, which sees Rey Mysterio and Sin Cara teaming up as they're going to be taking on Team Rhodes Scholars, Cody Rhodes and Damian Sandow in a tables match to determine the number one contender to face the WWE Tag Team Champions Kane and Daniel Bryan, Team Hell No. Now, I'm looking at this match, and for me, normally on any other given day of the week, I would probably go with Rey Mysterio and Sin Cara. Here's my biggest complaint right now on why I'm not going in that direction. With all due respect to Sin Cara, the man has been just slowly but surely increasing his craft. He's been getting better in the ring. I have been noticing it. Less botches than what we had first came across early in his WWE career, as he was really trying to get that whole WWE style of wrestling down, being able to tell a story within just a few minutes. He's really been coming on his own. Rey Mysterio, he's got to get his props because he's been helping Sin Cara along the way. But, every time you turn around, Sin Cara, he's always being left to fly solo as Rey Mysterio is sitting up and he's either sick or he got a concussion or he messed up his knee again and he needs surgery. Seems like every time you turn around, Rey Mysterio is always disappearing. And, if Mysterio was consistent with his attendance, with his performances in the ring, I would probably be more sold on the team of Sin Cara, Rey Mysterio winning. But, I just don't see that happening. And it should be noted that TLC this Sunday, this is going to be Rey Mysterio's first time since last we saw him several weeks back, as he's been away taking care of some personal family matters. So, on that note, hey, I'm going with Team Rhodes Scholars. Besides, come on, guys, I think we all can be in agreement. The team of Rhodes Scholars would just work a better program with Team Hell No. That just sounds better in itself. I mean, all these guys, they're pretty much moderately big with the exception of Kane there, who's a pretty huge guy. But I'm really loving the momentum that Team Rhodes Scholars has right now, especially since Cody Rhodes came back, no longer looking dashing as he is pushing that Village People's mustache. Brother, gonna take me a while to get used to that. Don't even get me started on that mustache. I talked about it enough as it is this past Tuesday night on the RCWR show. But I'm really loving the team of Rhodes Scholars. I got them picking up the victory over Sin Cara, Rey Mysterio. Nice setup to take on Team Hell No. And besides, this is what initially was supposed to happen anyway, as if there was ever a team that really posed a serious threat of taking away those tag team titles from Team Hell No, it was the team of Cody Rhodes, Damian Sandow. So nice to see these two guys back at it again, but I got them winning this Sunday. All right, let's move on with our next match, which sees Dolph Ziggler taking on John Cena in a ladders match for the World Heavyweight Championship contract that's inside of that Money in the Bank steel briefcase. Now, as I said earlier, if we end up seeing the Big Show versus Sheamus match before Ziggler and Cena, then look for Ziggler to possibly cash in that briefcase right after the conclusion of that match to become the new World Heavyweight Champion. Great setup for McMahon to come out and say, hey, Ziggler, your match is still going to happen with Cena, except now it's going to be for the title. It's going to be contested in a ladder match. So keep that in mind. Otherwise, this will just be a straight up ladder match. I'm going to tackle it from two different sides. Let's tackle it from just what it is, just a ladder match. Let's say Ziggler does not cash in that Money in the Bank briefcase and it's just simply a regular ladder match for the World Heavyweight contract as he's taking on Cena. Hey, hands down, when it's all said and done, this is going to be one of those type of matches. This will be the match of the night. Okay? The match of the night. I strongly feel that a lot of us are going to be walking away and we're going to say, damn, Dolph Ziggler really did steal the whole effing show. Yes, I said effing. I got a little RVD pun in there on purpose. Okay, but I got even the people that have always doubted Dolph Ziggler, the people that feel he's overrated. I strongly believe that this match alone is going to have those naysayers all of a sudden jump on the Dolph Ziggler bandwagon. Just mark my words on this. I got this match being a really solid 5-star type of match. I'm really getting that vibe right now. And when it's all said and done, this is pretty much going to boil down to a couple of things. One being, is it possible that the Shield could come out and play some type of, have some type of a role, play some type of a significant impact into this match? Is it possible that they could jump on John Cena? Remember, they did jump him this past Monday night on Raw, which caused a lot of folks to wonder, okay, what injustice did John Cena cause in this match to warrant this attack from the Shield? So you're kind of wondering if that could be the same case this Sunday between John Cena and Dolph Ziggler, because if that is the case, if there is some type of interference from the Shield, then it's possible that we could see Dolph Ziggler retain his briefcase that way. Otherwise, if there is no interference from the Shield, then, I was really booking this. This is one of those matches. It has a lot of turns, and that's why I am putting all those thoughts out there, because I want you guys to be prepared on what you could possibly see. I mean, that's just one angle that could happen with this match. Another angle that could possibly happen is, hey, there might not even be any type of Shield involved. It could just be a straight up ladders match, and Dolph Ziggler could just get the upper hand. But, I just don't really see that happening. Quite honestly, it wouldn't surprise me if maybe AJ Lee tried to come out and tried to actually help Cena in his bout to become a 2-time Money in the Bank winner. I mean, just think about that. You really need to think about this for a second. John Cena could make history at the TLC pay-per-view by becoming the first man in WWE history to win the Money in the Bank briefcase twice in 1 year. That would just be ridiculous if he was able to do that. And the odds are very high in his favor, because, I mean, just think about it, okay? Really think about it. If you have John Cena win that Money in the Bank briefcase at TLC, that sets him up to try to take on either Sheamus or the Big Show. It could also set up John Cena in a way where he could eventually go to the Royal Rumble and he could actually play a very significant role in the Rock versus CM Punk match. Right down to the point where, folks, I'm really jumping out there. We could possibly see a unification match for the World Heavyweight Championship and the WWE title. Just think about it. We got so many people under the impression that The Rock is going to beat CM Punk and he's going to become the WWE champion. What perfect timing would that be at that Royal Rumble that we see John Cena somehow be able to cash in that Money in the Bank briefcase at that pay-per-view on whoever that respected champion is, beat them, go up to The Rock and say, hey, you and me, we got some unfinished business. You and me, one more time. Let's put it all out there. Your WWE title on the line against my World Heavyweight Championship on the line. You want to talk about mega blockbuster oohs and ahs, pay-per-view buy rates, increase rates, everything just through the roof. If there was ever a time to do any type of a unification match, this is the moment. So there is really a lot at stake when you look at this Dolph Ziggler versus John Cena match, because there are so many turns that this can go. And you know, normally I would love to sit up and I would love to say, okay, I've got this guy winning. But this is a match that for me, it has so many turns. There's just so many angles that you can go down. For me, this really boils down to which one sounds like a more pleasing setup. You know, God, I hate to tease you guys because I'm live on the air right now and I'm having a hard time figuring out which route to go. Honestly, I think the route to go would be John Cena, and I'm going to tell you the reason why you go with John Cena. All the reasons that I said. Some of you are probably hearing this, you're probably saying, man, Lee, why not go with Dolph Ziggler? I have bigger things planned for Dolph Ziggler. Dolph Ziggler could still get on the rebound. You know, Dolph Ziggler could be set up to rebound very nicely by winning 2013's Royal Rumble to get a shot at the respective World Heavyweight Champion or WWE Champion. So what does that mean? Well, you could put Dolph Ziggler in a really nice position where it's possible that he could be involved in a triple threat match between John Cena and The Rock, and it could still be a unification match for those titles. I know it's a really big brain, mind-boggling, you know, whatever. You know what I really want to say, but I can't say it. I'm trying to keep it clean for those of you that's checking this out. But there are so many angles that this could go into. I'm actually going to go with John Cena, though. I think there is some really strong history that is on his side. If they decide to go with Dolph Ziggler, hey, I mean, we all win hands down. Really, I don't want to call this match, but if I have to choose, I'm going to go with John Cena. Let's talk about the main event match that's going to be happening for the night, as we'll see the team of Team Hell Knows, Kane and Daniel Bryan. They'll be teaming up with Mr. Feed Me More, Ryback, to take on The Shields, Seth Rollins, Dean Ambrose, Romain Reigns, and a tables, ladders, and chairs match. This match can only be decided by submission or pinfall. You know, I'm looking at this match, and I'm just really thinking about who really needs this win more. And quite honestly, guys, I've got to go with The Shield, hands down. I'm not going to BS you all around the bush on this one. There's no reason to talk about this match for a good solid 10-15 minutes. It needs to be The Shield, and I'm going to tell you the reason why. The Shield are in a rough spot right now. Any other time, you would look at this and you would say, The Shield, this is a win for them. And honestly, that's what I was thinking. I said, this is a win for The Shield, hands down. Let's move on. But you gotta really look under the surface right here. There's something you should consider about this. This will be the first true test for The Shield, who are unfortunately in a really bad spot right now because with CM Punk being injured, CM Punk unfortunately not being able to be in the main event at TLC to originally be the one to take on Ryback, and instead we have this new main event, hey, it puts WWE in a really bad spot, as they had no choice but to go with the Shield, since they were pretty much one of the hottest things in WWE right now, to take on the team of Team Hell No, Ryback. So that's what's happening on the Shield side of things. We got to go over to Team Hell No. Now look, let's pay attention to Ryback. Alright? Ryback lost for 2 consecutive pay-per-views back to back. And he was pretty much set up to lose a third one until CM Punk had got the injury. So now the question becomes, okay, well, for a third consecutive pay-per-view, is the trigger pulled to bury Ryback yet again? Honestly, the fact that you have Kane and you have Daniel Bryan involved, it could be one of those two guys that could actually pick up the loss to the Shield. They could be the ones to either tap out, or they could be the ones to get pinned by the Shield. But one thing is for certain, I would not be surprised if CM Punk, Paul Heyman, who have already said that they will be at the TLC pay-per-view and they will be watching the match, and he stressed that he has no type of affiliation with the Shield whatsoever, yet he's going to be there to check out the match. Don't be too surprised if CM Punk tries to get involved and maybe come to the aid of the Shield. But when it's all said and done, although it may upset a lot of people, especially the Ryback fans, as this would be a third month that Ryback technically would lose a match, the Shield really needs this right now. And quite honestly, the fans are behind Ryback no matter what. At this point, I don't really think the fans care about the streak. I think the fans just love Ryback for what he is, what he represents, what he brings to the ring. He is just a big powerhouse man of muscle badass, okay? And the fans love that. So when it's all said and done, you gotta go with the Shield. You gotta have their momentum going. Otherwise, they're gonna look like a joke. So you have to keep it going. However, we could see Randy Orton play a very significant role in this. We did find out that the Shield, they did attack Randy Orton there on Friday Night SmackDown. Devastating attack. Hey, if Randy Orton is anywhere close to 90%, he could come out and try to come to the aid of Team Hell No and Ryback. As remember, the only way this match can be won is by pinfall or submission. So there's definitely no way you could even try to get a DQ off of this. So expect a lot of interference here, okay? Expect for Randy Orton to maybe make some type of a cameo or whatever. But when it's all said and done, the Shield, they really need this. They need to go hard, and they need to go in strong for Monday Night's Raw. And folks, that is pretty much going to do it for the WWE TLC Call That Match special. Let's pick it up from the very top and work our way back down. For the YouTube pre-show, I went on record. I said Alicia Fox, kind of fresh. That's the best way to go. I have her winning the Battle Royal to eventually face Eve for the WWE Divas title. For Big Show versus Sheamus, I have Sheamus picking up the victory, but do not be too surprised if Dolph Ziggler tries to come out and cash in that Money in the Bank briefcase to capitalize on a weakened Sheamus, or whoever the World Heavyweight Champion may be. But I'm going with Sheamus, but don't be too surprised if Dolph Ziggler comes out. And bear in mind, I'm booking this match first if it happens before Ziggler versus Cena. For Kofi Kingston taking on Wade Barrett for the Intercontinental Championship, I have Kofi Kingston picking up the victory. For the United States Championship of Antonio Cesaro taking on R-Truth, I have Cesaro picking up the retain. For the ladders match for the World Heavyweight Championship inside a Money in the Bank contract, I have Dolph Ziggler picking up the... Oh, correction, folks. I have John Cena picking up the win. I'm not going to flip-flop now on you guys. I started to go with Dolph. See, I'm still confused. This is, of all the Call That Match specials I've done, that one is still rattling me. I am so tempted to go over to Dolph Ziggler's side. I'm going with John Cena. I think when it's all said and done, for the second time, John Cena will become a Money in the Bank winner. And he will have set a new milestone in WWE Money in the Bank history for being the only guy to win it twice in 1 year. I like that. That sounds really freaking solid. I got John Cena right there. For the tables match to determine the number one contender to face the WWE Tag Champions, I got the team of Rhodes Scholars going over Rey Mysterio and Sin Cara. And for your main event match, I have the team of The Shield, Seth Rollins, Dean Ambrose, Romain Reigns picking up a much needed win over Team Hell Knows, Kane and Daniel Bryan as they team up with Ryback. And folks, that is going to do it. Hey, what are your match predictions? We'd love to hear from you. Hit us up right now on Twitter at Infinity1Prod. And you can also hit us up on Facebook at Infinity One Productions. Share us your predictions. And hey, if you are on the spot right on, we will show you some love live on the air when we get ready to do the RCWR post show coming this Sunday at 11 p.m. Eastern. You want to make sure you join us. We're going to have great live fan reactions. It's really going to be solid. If you plan on checking out the pay-per-view, hey, after it goes off the air, make sure you hop on over to blogtalkradio.com/the RCWR show and join us. We'll have an active chat room where you'll be able to mingle with other people, converse about the pay-per-view, other wrestling-related news. Hey, you'll even be able to go live on the air with us when we open up the phone lines. It's really going to be a great, solid show. So make sure that you join us this Sunday night at 11 p.m. Eastern. And hey, if you're not able to check out the episode live in progress, right after our show goes off the air, you can access it in the archive section on Blog Talk Radio, and you can access it in the iTunes Zune marketplaces, as well as all our other episodes of the RCWR show and Impact Showdown Radio. Just use the keywords while you're in the iTunes Zune marketplaces, the RCWR show, and you'll be able to find it. Subscribe, simple as that. Hey, we may be going off the air for a little bit, but the talk of wrestling never stops. No. Hop on over to our website at infinityoneproductions.com, where we cover the very latest in wrestling-related news and so much more. And as I said, be sure to subscribe to us in the iTunes Zune marketplaces. And hey, add us as a friend on Twitter, Infinity1Prod, like our page at Facebook on Infinity One Productions. That's how you'll be able to find us on Facebook. Great solid episode of our Call That Match series. And folks, it's great to be doing all these Call That Match series on a month-to-month basis. We have a lot of fun. And folks, we are only just beginning with our Call That Match series. Very soon, it's going to get to the point where beginning next year, it's going to become even more interactive as ever, as we'll really be picking on you all, the wrestling fans' brains, on some of these pay-per-views that we got coming up in 2013. Our Call That Match series is going to go to a whole new other level. We're going to have special guests that are going to be stopping by. They're going to be offering their match predictions. It's going to be really, really solid. All part of a new year that's going to be coming. So we really hope that you enjoy it, as the name of the game is just producing better quality shows for you all to enjoy and check out. So get ready, 2013. We're going to be going big, and we're going to be going hard, and we're going to be going strong. Get ready for the ride. It's going to be really awesome. All right, that's going to do it, folks. As always, I'm the Black Avenger, Lee Sanders. You all be safe, and you all be kind to one another, folks. We will see you this Sunday night at 11 p.m. Eastern for the RCWR post show. Everybody, take care.